Don't buy the Tesla Cybertruck yet. But am I the only one who thinks you shouldn't buy the Tesla Cybertruck yet? Let's find out. How long have you had your Cybertruck for?
Since the beginning of January 2024.
Since July.
8 months now.
About 7 months?
Since March.
I've had it since June.
What do you like and not like about your Tesla Cybertruck?
I wish that we had FSD earlier, like Elon said, you know, like back in June, we were supposed to get it July, then August, now we're in September. What I love about the Cybertruck is the off-road capabilities it has. When I go off-roading with it, like being able to lift the car up, go over a few rocks, like, you know, on the dirt, it drives very smooth.
Windshield wiper broken. They don't have the parts ready. Whenever I go to a service center, I think to order, it takes really long time, and during the time, I couldn't use my windshield wiper.
I've yet to take it into service. I have a list, but 12,000 miles, knock on wood, no rear motor issues and such. You know, the normal creaks and whatnot, little things, but getting over it pretty good.
Things that I don't like is all the issues, like my tonneau cover is not working to
Oh yeah, I see it.
I like the power, I like the speed, I like the suspension is awesome. It's one of the most comfortable vehicles. The steer-by-wire has definitely changed the game. I actually have a couple of dings on my running boards back here, on these plastics. I would like to see if they could make something like some sort of rock guards.
Oh, a ton of issues. I love the Cybertruck, that's my disclaimer, but it just came out of service. It was in a week for both motor failures. They replaced the front and the rear. And of course, like the DNR panel, the drive reverse, neutral panel fell down. They had to push that back up and a bunch more that I can just, I mean, it's a Tesla at the end of the day. We all know this.
So I had one critical issue, had like a steering wheel issue while I was driving. And when I took it to Tesla, they said it was a sensor error. And to protect the car, it shuts off the steering wheel.
$1 million question, you already talked about it. Do you use your Tesla Cybertruck as an actual working truck?
I actually do, yeah.
We got a lot of my stuff right here, so yes, I do use it.
So I've had to tow somebody out of a spot that he couldn't get out of. So I've used the tow hooks on the front to pull him back. I've pulled from the rear. I pulled a trailer with it. I've carried a lot of gear, went camping with it, a lot of off-road like I mentioned before. I carry a full-size spare in the back, just as, you know, being an off-road guy, you gotta know.
If you consider Costco run as a truck usage, then
I always thought, who buys a brand new year one build? Roll the B-roll. Now, when the opportunity to get a Foundation Series Tesla Cybertruck came, the angel on one side said that Tesla, they really improved on their production. They learned so much from their previous models. There shouldn't be any major issues. They have a brand new huge factory in Texas dedicated to building the Tesla Cybertruck. I saw the production actually at a Tesla event. It looks streamlined, perfect. There's no possible way anything can go wrong. However, the devil was saying that it's a new build from Tesla. You know there's gonna be issues. Screw it, I'm buying that bad boy. I purchased my Tesla Foundation Series Cybertruck 6 months ago, and like many other owners, never really used it as an actual work truck. And since then, I've had it in for service, drum roll please, 7 times. Now first, Tesla service at my location is great, so friendly, they do a great job, but just going into service itself, it's a hassle, it takes time out of your day. With all Teslas, it comes with a basic 4-year, 50,000 mile warranty, so everything that happened to my truck that I'm gonna be talking about was fixed for free. So should we talk about the issues first or the things I like? Let's do the things I like. Gotta save the best for last. So I've done dedicated videos on whether I'd have a Model X or a Tesla Cybertruck and which one is my daily driver. However, once you go cyber, you can't go back. The car itself is just so cool looking. Handling is great for a truck and slow speed maneuvering is so easy. I love the steer-by-wire. After a day of getting used to it, the Squircle is so easy to use. You get much more interior space compared to my Tesla Model X. I feel safer in the truck, and because I have an open truck bed, I can carry like a ton of stuff like my 8 sleep mattress pod and foundation without having to take 2 trips. Video on that bad boy soon. I can go off-roading. I don't have to worry about the little things like curb rash, and it's just an amazing truck and I love it. But once the honeymoon phase dies down, you start seeing issues. So let's talk about it. Delivery day was awesome. Best delivery day experience ever. No paint issues to worry about. I didn't see anything from the get-go. Get-go, I don't even know where that phrase came from. Anyways, I did a delivery day video on things to look out for, so I took my time to check and I was pleasantly surprised. Let's talk about my first service visit. My first issue was a very subtle distortion in the windshield. It's something you can only notice at certain angles, and I thought it was the way the windshield was. For that, it took about a month to get the windshield and a day to repair, so overall not bad. Also, when I went in for service for my windshield replacement and I got it replaced, I used my windshield wiper blade once and it completely broke off, like it flew off. And when I talked to service, they said the bolts were stripped somehow, which is just so weird. My second service visit, of course, like many others, the A-pillar wasn't lined up and it didn't look right, so they just had to adjust that. Whenever I closed my door on the passenger side, it made a rattling sound, and they found out that it was the window regulator guide that was loose, so it was just a quick adjustment. The tailgate didn't seem flush, it popped out more. They tried to adjust it, but they couldn't. On my third service visit, my tonneau cover also had a gap on one side, so more water entered in there much easier than the other side. They couldn't fix that, but luckily I was able to recalibrate it in the secret service menu and all was good. And all these minor issues and adjustments were made the same day and done the same or the next day, so it wasn't that long. With my fourth service visit, now during a road trip with my Cybertruck, my climate control died. My heater didn't work, my AC didn't work, dog mode didn't work. They found out it was the super manifold that had to be replaced, and that took a few days. After a few months of use, I noticed the weather stripping in between the tonneau. No, see? I finally figured it out. It's not tonneau. The more you know about the tonneau. But anyways, that weather stripping in between the tonneau slats were coming undone. So they had to remove the entire thing on service visit number 5, and they replaced and fixed the slats. It still looks like it's kind of happening again, so it may be a recall in the future. And speaking of recalls, multiple recalls since I got my truck, like that pedal rivet recall. They have the windshield wiper motor recall. They have the trim piece in the rear that apparently is flying off recall. However, the only one that really applied to me so far has been the pedal rivet. When I was driving, all of a sudden one of my pillar trims fell off and it got super bent from the wind because I was going like 80 miles per hour on the freeway. I found in the service manual for the bolts for that A-pillar trim, they now require that Loctite blue glue to prevent it from getting undone. But since mine was an early VIN, it didn't have that. But surprisingly, they had that actual stainless steel A-pillar trim on site that same day, so I was able to get it fixed ASAP. I also noticed a lot of the bolts in the front were loose, so hopefully nothing else flies off. And around that same time, my emergency door release on the passenger front door suddenly didn't work, and they found out the cable came detached somehow. And that was all done at service visit number 6. So a lot of these issues seem to be from factory, just things weren't placed correctly. I also found that at certain times, the vent on the passenger side would not go up or down. However, that did go away, so that might have been related to a firmware issue. Oh, when they fixed my A-trim pillar and replaced it, they ended up poking a hole in my rubber trim that I found out about a few days later. Luckily, no hassles. They were able to get that fixed with a mobile repair. So they came to my house, fixed in like 15 minutes and they were done. So as you can see, I've been in service pretty much every month since I got my Tesla Cybertruck. I found out with Tesla, and drop it in the comments if I'm wrong. Usually when I get something fixed, somehow another issue pops up. Again, it's a new build. There's bound to be some growing pains. I'm just lucky I don't have the dreaded red screen of death where the motor or the inverter dies and you're just screwed. Knock on wood. Now, there were a few things I had to fix myself, but it was an easy fix. My chair squeaks so much. I was able to fix that. I'll do a separate video just with some silicone spray, no problem. Also, the trim on the right side above my head kept sagging down, so I had to kind of remove the whole thing and just make sure and push all the clips in. The sound system is amazing on the Tesla Cybertruck and the subs are great, but it's rattling nation. It rattles so much, so I ended up stuffing some towels to create some dampening, and it's worked great. But those are just my issues. A lot of times these issues occur depending how anal you are. As you saw, other owners don't have the same issues or as many issues like me. Now, another issue I faced and something I got used to, no parking vision-based detection. However, now it seems like it is available and it is slowly being released to Cybertrucks, but it doesn't work that well, but it is a step in the right direction. Also, part of getting that expensive $20,000 Foundation Series upgrade is full self-driving is included. However, 6 months down the road, I still don't have any sort of auto steer or anything, which makes road trips a little more challenging. Honestly, it's something that should have been available from the beginning, but here's the thing. Would you have rather waited for another year for a more polished truck, or get one now. And for me, I'm a baby. I want one now. Give me it. And that's what a lot of people aren't realizing. Nobody's putting a gun to your head and say, you gotta buy the Tesla Cybertruck. I knew. Tesla even gave a disclaimer when you purchased it that many of these features, like the auto steer and parking assist, will be available in an upcoming release. And I'm okay with that. Another thing that's changed, and it's a little annoying, and I haven't really discussed it, was something called the power share, where you can use the truck to power your home. I did a dedicated video on it. Back then they included all the hardware, and if you got the more expensive Cyber Beast version, you got installation credit. However, now that's all changed. They give you like a voucher now, and you could choose to purchase it yourself. After I got mine and tested it, everything worked great. However, when my power actually went out and I actually needed it, it didn't work. It completely died. I contacted my electrician. They said because it's hooked up to Tesla Solar, Tesla rolled back my firmware and they'll release it sometime at the end of the year, which is a little bit of a bummer. But those are the major issues I've had to deal with. So let's talk about what it's like driving my Tesla Cybertruck as my daily driver. I have my Model Y and I upgraded to my Model X, and my Model X used to be my daily driver, but now I replaced that with the Tesla Cybertruck. I mean, I love my Cybertruck. The front cameras, side cameras help a lot with driving and parking. It's so much more comfortable and roomier than my Model X and Y. The rear seats can go up and acts as a mini trunk. And in my area, there's Cybertrucks everywhere, so I don't get any stares and questions. But again, if that's a big issue for you, expect to be stared at, expect for people to take photos and come up to you. So definitely wait a few years until that hype dies down. But one thing that annoys me is the Costco runs. Yes, the Cybertruck is great for Costco runs if you don't get anything perishable. But if you do and you place it in your truck bed, it gets super hot back there. So consider getting like a Goal Zero fridge, or make sure you have space in the rear seats for those items. The front is also much smaller than other models, so you do have to do a lot of Tetris to place everything perfectly. However, I love how it's powered, and I use it as a secure area to store anything valuable just in case. And while the Foundation series does come with front and rear floor mats like everything else, I had to patiently wait for one of my favorite floor mat companies, 3D Maxpider, to come up with their own version. And man, it is beautiful. They designed it with a tub style design and rugged look. And one thing I didn't like about my Tesla floor mats was that all the debris would just fall out on the door sill side because it was so flat. And it doesn't really protect that cool Cybertruck logo, and so I was always afraid of getting it scratched. However, these look so much cleaner, and it's great because it actually protects that door sill from scuffs and scratches. If let's say you don't like this piece covering your beautiful Cybertruck, look how scratched that is, logo, you could cut it off. They have an indentation here. You could simply just cut off this whole entire piece. Still raised and elevated here to provide some nice protection. You still get that anti-slip heel grip, and it has that tub style shape design, waterproof, perfect for all of our road trips with the dirt and the dogs. And if you didn't know, there's so much storage space in the Tesla Cybertruck, especially in the middle. It's just like a giant hole. But now 3D Maxpider has a bottom area which you could protect, and that's awesome. The rear floor is also fully protected, offers great coverage. And the one thing I hated is the scratches I created in the frunk. If only I had a frunk liner mat, it would have protected a little bit. And 3D Maxpider thought of that. They also have a liner for the gear locker under the truck bed, so you can easily store all your stuff, not worry about scratches, getting anything dirty. Overall, it's a great look. If you guys are interested, they have it for all the models. Make sure to use my discount code in the description below. So next, let's talk about the what does and what was Tesla thinking when making the car, and things I wish it had. One thing I've now gotten used to is not looking out of my non-existent rear view mirror. I ended up just removing it because when the tonneau cover is closed, you can't see anything out, and when it's open, you lose so much range. I'm also not a fan of the rear view camera, as the quality isn't the best. Would it have killed them to add a digital rear view mirror? I mean, I don't know. I also wish they had a secondary camera that was higher up that looks down on the truck bed for safety, like the Rivian R1T. Also, the windshield wiper, it's cool, but it could have been designed better. Because it's so long, the weight and pressure doesn't distribute evenly, so you always end up with squeaking or streaking in certain areas. And unlike the Model S and X, there's no integrated home link. Not sure why, but the only way to open your garage door is with MyQ subscription, or you have to carry around a physical garage door opener. I also wish the screen had a little tilt feature. Doesn't have it. And again, mid-gate or like a little window where the rear seats fold down to allow for a more climate controlled truck bed would have been awesome. You can make a giant truck bed and sleep in your Tesla. So the only way to sleep in your Tesla is if you're really short, or you buy a Tesla tent or an aftermarket tent with no climate control. And surprisingly, this is a subjective one, but the seats aren't the most comfortable near the headrest. They made it cool. They made it shaped like a triangle like the Cybertruck. And for me, 6'3", it does fit my head, but I get no neck support. And my wife, it's like useless for her, and she's 5'3". So I wish they put a little bit more comfort and design into that. And yes, the stainless steel is durable, but they couldn't have made the plastic trim a little bit stronger with maybe some sort of coating, because the plastic trim scratches so easily. And surprisingly, the stainless steel scratches as well. But in the end, is it worth it? My Foundation Series dual motor starts at $100,000 and the Beast at around $120,000. Apparently, you're only gonna get the Foundation Series for the first year, and that's what adds that extra $20,000. However, after, I'm assuming it should be $20,000 less. And now, you can order it now with delivery like what? In like 1 to 2 months? A truck with over 2 million reservations and they're already done? I don't know if that's a good thing. Overall, if you want something now, you want to be special, you want the Foundation Series badging, you like the beefy wheels, you want the full self-driving, free premium connectivity for life. I did the calculations and it's actually worth it to get it now for that 20K. However, even full self-driving today doesn't seem to be fully worth it. Not to mention it's gotten a little bit cheaper. So for most people out there, I say wait until the Foundation Series markup is over. Wait until at least a year where they figure out some of the basic production and build quality issues to save the most hassle. Don't get me wrong, I love Tesla. But yes, I had issues with my truck. Nothing major, but don't think it's just rainbows and flowers. It's not a perfect vehicle, but I just love my Cybertruck. I never drive my other Teslas anymore. And whenever someone asks me, how do you like your truck? I love it. It's just a better car overall. If I had kids and I had to get them in and out of the back seat, I'd probably stick with the Model X. But I don't have any kids, baby. I can haul a ton of stuff. I could tow. I can go off-road. And I can use the truck to charge another electric vehicle, power my house. It's just the safer and more reliable car. And since I got the car, I feel like there's been a new software update every week making the truck better and better. Overall, if you're on the fence, I guarantee you won't regret it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Am I too nice with all these issues? I mean, would you guys get one? Are you guys getting one? Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.